Hey everyone, welcome to my show, Timeout with Trey. I'm your host, Trey, with my co-host, my brother, Noah Avant. This is a two-man webcast that discusses sports, entertainment, and breaking news. Um, a change from last week's episode is the addition of my co-host, Noah. Noah, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey everybody, my name is Noah Avon. I'm a senior journalism mass communication student at North Carolina A&T. I'm a former mascot from UNC Pembroke. I know a lot of people don't really hear about those guys. I'm also a proud member of Men on the Move at North Carolina A&T. I'm a diehard Miami Heat fan, and I like the Dolphins.
It's funny you say that because last year you were a Steelers fan. So what happened?
See, okay, so this is my whole thought process. I'm not gonna lie, I was a Steelers fan last year. Sorry guys, you didn't draft Jalen Hurts. I don't know why they would not draft Jalen Hurts when they went through 3 quarterbacks this year, and Jalen Hurts was just sitting on the board, shining like a shining star he is. I'm happy the Eagles got him. I have no bad blood towards the Eagles, but yeah, you got a receiver, and you don't need receivers. You have enough. So I'm on the tour train, baby.
I mean, it's not like Jalen Hurts was going to change the Steelers around anyways.
Jalen Hurts would have been he wouldn't have changed them around himself, but that's a good step in the right direction. Okay. And besides, I said if I was going to lead the Steelers, I was going to go to the team. That reminds me of home, Miami native as well. Before moving to North Carolina, I used to live right down the street from where the Dolphins play now. So I'm a hometown boy. Team SoFlo.
Okay. This show has different segments where I inform you of trending topics in sports and entertainment and offer my thoughts. At the end of the show is a hot take segment where we'll offer a prediction on one random topic and explain why. With that being said, let's get started. Rookies reported yesterday to NFL training camp. Quarterbacks and injured players will report tomorrow, and veteran players will report on the 28th. The exact format and timeline of the training camps is still undetermined. How they're going to do it with everything going on with COVID-19 and stuff.
Yeah.
The NFLPA is pushing for a longer than normal acclimation period to get the players' bodies ready for full contact practice. Mm-hmm. The Joint Medical Committee with the NFL and NFLPA is suggesting a 48-day training camp, which includes a 21-day strength and conditioning period. Mm-hmm. There's also no preseason. So how you feel about that, Noah?
I mean, it's what you expect. It's COVID. Let's be real here. People lost jobs because of this. Like I said, I go to A&T. Some people lost their offers were rescinded because of COVID. So I'd imagine we're not going to have football in the preseason. It's just like it's common sense. I am interested to see what else the NFL is going to do, like what steps they're going to take in regards to keeping players safe. I know Russell Wilson mentioned something like he was concerned with his wife, Ciara, the R&B singer. She's pregnant with their child. Other people around the league, nobody wants to get COVID. It's something that people are not taking seriously. People are not wearing masks. And at the end of the day, football cannot happen unless we're taking these steps. I'm really interested to see what the NFL is going to do, though.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see who makes the teams, since most NFL rosters are made up of second stringers, third stringers, undrafted rookies. So since there's no preseason, it's going to be interesting to see who makes the team, since no one can prove themselves against competition.
Practice is going to, at the end of the day, it's football. You play football, I play football. You going to prove yourself at practice. This is when it goes back to Pop Warner. Who going to start? Middle school, JV varsity. You've been in a situation like this, and I know these guys being professional athletes, they've been in a situation before. I look at my guy Sterling Johnson out of Coastal Carolina. I've known Sterling since middle school. Sterling is a beast. I'm not trying to speculate anything for him on his name. But when I tell you when you get to that level and you talking about the free agents, these guys are hungry. This is a whole different breed. At the end of the day, if these guys don't get that jersey, they got to go back to find. They got to go back to square one. This is going to be a time where you're really going to see people rise, and you're really going to see who's going to be the guys that you want to depend on the football field.
You said Sterling is playing for the Bears now, right?
No, he got drafted by the Jets.
Jets, okay, Jets. You should bring him on the show one day.
Hey, if Sterling can take some time out of his day and hang out with us for a little bit, hey, maybe.
The NFL they announced that 95 players are positive for coronavirus as of right now, but they updated it to 59. So I think that's a little fishy, don't you think?
Maybe it was a miscount. Who knows?
That's a big miscount, though. From 95 to 59.
I don't know what else to tell you. It's definitely something that you would raise your eyebrow at. Being that the NFL is trying to do the right thing, I really don't feel like they would deflate their numbers to inaccuracy. So, I hope not, because I really want football to come back. I miss it.
Yeah, me too. It's gonna be interesting to see how they promote social distancing in the locker room, since football is a contact sport. There's no such thing as social distancing in football. You got to be in the huddle. The locker room is really close, and you have 80 people because they cut it down in training camp from 90 to 80 for social distancing. You have 80 people in the off season in a locker room that's only so big, and now you got to separate them 6 feet apart. You need a locker room that's the size of a football field. Social distancing is impossible in the NFL.
No, not necessarily. As big as those locker rooms are, I truly feel like if you just had it where you just one side had to be offense, the other side had to be defense, you might take it old school, changing in your bus. I don't know. It's really no telling on what you can and can't do. Like you said, social distance is a big thing. I was watching a video on CNN. It actually did something at your school, FAU, and they were talking about the power of the sneeze and a cough and the actual water droplets that can actually spread the virus. So from that, with that being said, it makes you think, is 6 feet really enough? Like, and then you're in a football environment, especially if it's a good game. I know how it is at Aggie Land when we're neck and neck with FAMU and we're beating them, or we're doing God knows what to Central on the football field. Like, whenever the games are really good, we're going to be next to each other. So it's going to be hard to like social distancing us. So
I know the NFL is pushing for mouth shields, basically mask inside the helmet.
Have they put on a football helmet before?
They have not. They're scientists. It's going to be developed by Oakley. I remember J.J. Watt said something like he wouldn't even play if he had to wear a mask while he was playing on the field.
It's one of those things that you got to realize, like, when you go out there, you're at risk it anyway. You might as well keep everything the same. You don't see the NBA out here with Jimmy Butler with a mask on his face.
Like, players don't even wear mouthpieces that much anymore because you can't speak.
Exactly.
So what do you think a mask is going to do?
Like, we barely wear knee pads. Like, it's just like, why are you breaking a requirement or something that it necessarily isn't needed? If you're going to get it, you're going to get it anyway. So wearing a mask under a face mask with a helmet on, it's just excessive, and it's hot. So I don't know. Yeah. I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah, the NFL needs to come up with a plan quickly. You mentioned Russell Wilson has concerns about playing. Patrick Mahomes said he has concerns. Drew Brees, Deshaun Watson, J.J. Watt. Aaron Donald, Jarvis Landry, they all voiced their concerns on social media about how they're not safe, returning to training camp. Holmes said, getting ready to report this week. Well, and I quote, getting ready to report this week, hoping the NFL will come to an agreement with the safe and right protocols so we can feel protected playing the sport we love. The top players in the league are not safe. They don't feel safe coming back. So what do you think that says to the rest of the players? They pretty much speak for the lower tier players, since lower tier players don't have that big of a voice. Now the top players are saying that the NFL should definitely do something about it.
It's not like at the end of the day, when it comes down to this football stuff, you pick two pills. The red pill, you just let the things be. You come up with a plan to be as best as you can. Bite the bullet, play. Blue pill, you don't play, throw away season, just wait till next year. At the end of the, it's nothing else really you can really do about it. I agree with Mahomes. They need to come up with a plan if they plan on having them to play football. Because I don't risk coronavirus on anybody. And not for my enjoyment. So it's not necessary. If they're not going to come up with a plan to protect these guys, they don't need to play. And that's just all it is to it.
What's going to be really fun to see is the Chargers and the Rams being on Hard Knocks. So it's going to be fun to see how those two teams carry on with their day-to-day operations while in this pandemic. And we get to see it, on HBO. It's gonna be interesting to see, the inner workings of the NFL's plan and how the teams adapt.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely gonna put a lot of the players at ease. Maybe I feel like it's just the sense of not knowing is the big issue, and I feel once things get going, they'll have a plan. Players will feel safer, and we'll still have football. But as of right now, like I said before, I emphasize it. If they don't have a plan to protect these guys, they don't need to play.
You're right. I agree. We're going to switch gears to college football now. FAU lost two opponents recently, Minnesota and Stony Brook. As of right now, they will open the season against Georgia Southern. The Big 12 and Big 10 and the Pac-12 have cut their schedule to conference only. Nearly every AAC team has had a non-conference game wiped out by scheduling restrictions by other leagues. The AAC, features USF and UCF. USF actually plays FAU this year.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about these conferences going to conference-only schedules?
I love it. Like I said, I want football to happen. We need college football. I feel like, especially being a college student, like I said, I'm a college senior. I go to North Carolina A&T. Let me make sure I emphasize that. National champion HBCU, North Carolina Agricultural Technical State University has the greatest football program in all of North Carolina. And I would love to see them play my senior year. These guys, all of the schools in general have guys that really love the game. They're out there, they're still training. You don't have an off season if you're an athlete. You're a championship athlete. So I know that these guys really want to play, and people need football. We've been stuck inside all day. I've been playing 2K and Call of Duty for the past 3 months. I've been doing homework. I'm tired. I need to watch football. I need to watch some type of sports. The NBA came back today. Like I buckled and bought the $6.99 subscription. Like we need sports.
You can't watch it for free.
Well, the team that I want to watch in North Carolina, unfortunately, isn't shown.
You're right.
I need Jimmy and Bam to look out for me. Come on now. But going back to what I was saying, college football is something that it's just something you do on Saturdays. If you really enjoy the game of football, you want to wake up in the morning, cut on ESPN, cut on your local news channel, and you want to watch some college football. If we can do conference only, less games equals less chance of exposure, and people in these schools need the money.
Mhm.
When you talk about athletics and college football, athletics funds a lot of things. You look at some schools, their football team is always going to be the team that they're going to put a lot of money into. You know, you have other schools like Carolina and Dukes and Kentucky. They may put a lot of money into their schools or
In
whatnot.
basketball.
Yeah, because they're basketball schools. That's fine. And I'm just throwing this in. But football is the school, is the team. Even in high school, most high schools, what is going to be the team that's going to have the most love?
Football team.
So you got to have football this year. You have to.
Mhm. It's funny how you talk about A&T because the MEAC, the SWAC, the Ivy League, the Patriot League, and the CAA have announced they will now play sports this fall. And A&T is in the MEAC, so they're not playing this fall. How do you feel about that?
I'm hoping that we are, since this is our last year in the MEAC, that maybe the Big South or the NCAA will let us play football of the Big South kids for this year, give them an early tasting of what they're going to get for the next couple of years. But it hurts. Yeah, I think I can safely speak for everybody at Aggieland when I say that this year not being able to play is something that we're definitely gonna remember and be a little upset about. But we much rather have our guys safe at the end of the day.
Mhm.
So,
I agree. Just to let you know, FAU has a couple of championships as well. We also beat SMU in the bowl game. We should have been ranked top 25, but AP be hating on us.
AP hates on you guys. Well, imagine being undefeated the same year UCF and you're at the bottom of the top 25. Imagine.
You said you guys are at the bottom of the top 25?
We were undefeated one year, and they had us at like 20. I think it was somewhere between like 18 and 25. You know, and it goes back to, and I hate to bring this topic. I do hate. I know I don't. I want to bring this topic up. I'm talking about these athletes going to HBCUs. The importance of Mikey or McCord Maker, or even back in the day, if DeMarcus Cousins or John Wall would have went to Shaw, like any of these major guys that went to the league, went to an HBCU, the publicity alone would help that HBCU for decades upon decades. Because that would mean more athletes be like, wow, he's really good. I went there. He went there and he did pretty good. Boom. Because we're in an era now of teaming up. Teaming up is a thing now. Super teams are a thing. So I'm saying these guys now they play the AU ball. They play AU ball together. They've interacted with each other numerous times. And the shout out Maker for going to Howard, that's great. Because now Howard's basketball program is going to be on ESPN way more than ever was. We have a guy, Blake Harris. Blake Harris just transferred to A&T. And we got Quay Parker. I don't know if you remember Quay Parker. He was the best dunker in the class of 2016. I mean, you may say Dennis. You might say Dennis.
Dennis Smith Jr. was nice.
You might say Seventh Woods. But Quay Parker and Blake Harris now go to A&T. They're now Aggies. We had a couple D1 guys. We had a bunch of D1 guys transfer for the football team. Like, when you bring that type of talent to a school with where historically where you would have gone, it now puts money into those schools' pockets to keep those going. So I definitely think that HBCUs and all this stuff like that, we kind of get the short end of the stick when it comes down to those rankings.
Mm-hmm. Mario, we need the graphic up, the HBCU graphic up. Mikey Williams, as you said before, he's the number 3 overall basketball prospect in class 2023.
Mm-hmm.
He's considering a couple HBCUs, actually, well, several.
Yes.
Alabama State, Arkansas, Pine Bluff, Delaware State, Florida A&M, Grambling State, Hampton, Howard, Jackson State, Norfolk State, North Carolina Central, Southern, Tennessee State, Texas Southern. He also has offers from various PWIs like Duke, Kentucky, Kansas, all those schools because he's a talented player. But if he commits to an HBCU and actually attends the school, that's changing the game. Because while Makur Maker is a really good basketball player, a really good prospect, he just doesn't compare to the level of star power that Mikey Williams possesses. Mikey Williams can change the game. He was still in the spotlight in 8th grade from Bronny.
Okay,
And
that's
speaking of
very
Bronny,
valid. That's very valid.
and
But oh,
speaking of Bronny, Sportsbook has Bronny James, obviously the son of LeBron James, likely to commit to an HBCU. He has They say North Carolina Central, Howard, and North Carolina A&T are the most likely candidates to get Bronny to commit to them. Now, me personally, I believe Bronny will either commit to Duke or just follow his father's path and go to the NBA straight out of high school because the rule will go into effect while Bronny is still in high school. So he could leave after his senior year and go straight to the NBA, which I think personally he will most likely choose if he's good enough by the time he's a senior. What do you think about that, Noah?
I feel like when it comes down to that whole thing of Bronny going to the league or Bronny going to Duke or Kentucky or Carolina, Bronny is going. I really do feel like Bronny will go to the HBCU. Bronny is influenced by his father. LeBron James is somebody who changes the game. LeBron was the first. Kobe had went from high school to the league. There were guys before Bron to do it, but LeBron was the only one that had the movie of his high school career. You're that great. They looked at you going to math class. You just, excuse me, you trying to take your algebra test and his flash is too bright. This is LeBron James we're talking about. So with that being said, I feel like with the social climate where it is, and with LeBron being that influential as a man, I feel like it would rub off in Bronny in a way that he would want to go to HBCU. Hopefully he doesn't go to Central. Shout out to those guys at Central, HBCU love and all, but I feel like he needs to be under Coach Jones. He needs to come to G-Ho, get some Aggie wings, and I promise you he'll be an Aggie for life.
Mm-hmm. What would be crazy is if Bronny and Mikey both commit to Central because Central has offered Mikey, and Bronny is his most likely candidate to go to is Central. So if they both join, Bronny expected to get a little taller from what he is right now, so he could be a 2. Put him in the backcourt with Mikey on the same squad.
Yeah, but that's not. Those two guys are competitors. I'm not gonna go to the same school as you. If you go to one school, I'm going to another school, and it's even better because the Aggie Eagle Classic is a thing. Like, what? 45 minutes away? If I'm at home 30, 40, yeah, I'm definitely going to that game. LeBron James' son, Bronny James, Baby Bron. That's what we're gonna call him. Baby Bron is gonna go to Central or A&T, even better. He's gonna be an Aggie. Mikey's gonna be a dirty bird in Durham. Like that game, those basketball games, Club Corbett's already a movie. Quentin Tarantino would be jealous. It would be such a movie in Club Corbett. Club Corbett and Bronny James. I can hear DJ K. Grady right now. DJ Fourth on the mic, like all those guys.
But you were the main one to say players in high school team up in AAU. So why can't they do so in college?
Because in college, I want to show I'm better than you because I want to be number one. I want to be a better pick than you. Mm-hmm. I can't do that on your team. Imagine if RJ Barrett and Cam Reddish did not go to Duke with Zion. And Cam Reddish is a beast. You can't tell me Cam Reddish's skill set is not crazy. RJ Barrett's skill set is not crazy. Them two guys' skill sets are crazy. You put them guys on any other team. Let RJ and Cam win in Carolina Blue. I promise you it would have been a different game. I promise you that.
Well, since all three of them went to Duke, Zion was actually supposed to be number 2, and then RJ was going to be number
Exactly.
1.
And look what happened.
They were on
Zion
this.
had
They were on this. They were on the same team, and Zion proved he was better than RJ.
okay. Look, they're on the same team though. That's what you missing.
That's still competition. He still proved he's better than him.
Well, look, if I go to a different team in a better system that may be better fit for me,
They were still both hooping though.
I don't say how much love to RJ and Zion. You know, I just, they're Duke players, and I'm a Carolina guy outside of being an Aggie man. So it a little biased, but nah, respect to Duke. But no, I feel like if they would have went to different schools, they probably this would have been a whole different conversation right now.
Brian and Mikey also team up with Howard. And I'm speaking of Howard. You talked yesterday. You talked to me about Corey Foreman,
yes,
the number 2 defensive end in the class 2021. You say he's considering going to Howard.
Absolutely, I saw that. I actually saw it on an Instagram page. I think it was Sport Psychologist. When I saw it, like, what? So I had to do a little more research into it, and the guy is good. He's an edge rusher. I think he's out of Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. But the guy is a beast. And him going to Howard, and I mean, I don't want to talk down on Howard, but we played him in homecoming, and it was a good game. But nevertheless, they could use the help of Mr. Foreman and his abilities on the outside to rush. Like I said, when you're playing the game and you have that rush, that good somebody that's going to contain, stop the run on the outside, that's what you want. And if the number 2, he's going to Howard. Who knows? And then so he has to stay at least 2 years. I think 2 years before they can go to the NFL.
I'll say about 3 years because you got to leave junior year at the earliest.
Okay, so 3 years. 3 years of him and other players he's going to attract. Howard's football program is essentially resuscitated. Everybody wins. You may mess around and see them winning the Celebration Bowl just as much as we did.
But you said earlier, he was considering Howard just for clout. You said Foreman could be considering Howard just for the clout.
It could be for the clout. I mean, let's be real. There's no other. And I don't want to talk. Like I said, I don't want to talk down on HBCUs. I love Howard. You know, that's one of the first HBCUs. But the issue is, is there any other HBCUs that people know? Do you know Southern? Do you know Grambling? Do you know Florida A&M? Do you know Bethune? Do you know FMU, Florida Memorial University? Do you know anything outside of Morehouse? There's other HBCUs out there. Elizabeth City, Fayetteville State. Let's see some more varieties in these schools. That's why I applaud Mikey so much because of the schools that he has. You know, and I really hope it's not for clout. It is what it is. But it's interesting to see what his next moves will be.
Before we end this topic, I just wanted to mention Doug Williams, Earl Monroe, Jerry Rice, Walter Payton, Michael Strahan, Altea Gibson, Willis Reed, Steve Mayer, and Shannon Sharp have all attended HBCUs. So obviously HBCUs have had tons of talent in the past, and hopefully they can keep it going in the future.
Tariq Cohen,
he went to A&T.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Darryl.
Yeah.
Brandon Jackson. Soon Jermaine Martin. You know, these guys are good. Elijah Bell eventually too.
The HBCU pipeline is not dry. Never has been.
Just gotta look.
Agreed. We're gonna switch gears to the NBA now.
Let's get it.
The NBA bubble has produced 0 COVID-19 cases since the last testing. So obviously the bubble is doing its job. Scrimmage play started today, as Noah said earlier. The Magic and Clippers kicked it off with the Wizards and Nuggets, then the Pelicans and Nets, and then the Kings and Heat will end it today with more games following in the days after. What do you think about the bubble and how's it doing?
The bubble idea is great. I mean, you just have to listen. Just like I told you the other day, it shouldn't be hard to sit in a bubble and do what's required. And hitting back onto the game, it's the Clippers are up 76-83. And I want to have to keep update on the game. But the issue with only issue I feel like with the bubble is just that the guys may get bored. That's the only thing. And I know they're doing a lot at the game room, at the barbershop. You really do not need to leave the bubble. That's why it's hard for me to feel like understand why guys just can't stay in. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Agreed. A lot of players will be tempted to leave though.
It's Orlando.
Not just for like family issues, like stuff they have to leave the bubble for. Just because they just want to leave and have fun.
Yeah, like Zion, for instance. I know Zion, I heard he had to go back home. He had a family emergency or something like that. That's understandable. That should be the only reason why you truly need to leave. Like if you want to leave because you want to ride Space Mountain, I mean, I'm pretty sure didn't they allow them the ability to do that?
Yeah, I've seen JaVale McGee and Kyle Kuzma. They went on a water ride, so the players can walk around the park, have fun. You just can't leave that area.
That's nothing like that area is huge. I was fortunate enough to do a Disney college program 2 years ago. That if you told me this, which is essentially what the college program was, aside from you going to work, you're in a bubble. You can leave. I mean, I said I could leave my bubble, but you're in a bubble. Bubble at Disney World. What more could you need? What more could you want for 6 months?
Mm-hmm.
That's great. But hey, I'm on the outside looking in.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the food doesn't look too great, but they can deal with it.
That's the weird part, because when I saw that, I was like, that's not Disney. That's not Disney whatsoever.
I think it was just like some starter stuff, just because not all the players were there yet. So I think it was just some starter stuff, get people used to, just to feed them. Yeah. And then as players start getting there, then they'll start feeding them better food.
I hope. I don't want Jimmy Butler and Bam eating ramen on Game 7. I want them eating the best of the best.
Exactly.
It's weird. It's so weird how this whole thing worked out.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't expect basketball to happen this year.
I did. I knew it was they stopped in the middle of the season, and this season was going to be very interesting to see, since there were no big threes. Everybody has like a dynamic duo.
Yeah.
LeBron is on a good team on the Lakers now. You got Anthony Davis. Kawhi joined the Clippers after he just ran through the East with the Raptors. The Clippers probably would have won the championship, but we'll see now. Everything is like equal. Neutral playing field. No, there's no home court advantage. So we'll see what happens.
You said something that kind of bugged me a little bit when you talked about LeBron. LeBron has always had a good team post Miami. Since Miami, he has had a good team since Miami. Trey, don't do that. Trey, do not do that. Do not do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
That 2018 team was not good.
The Cavs, bro. LeBron had who? Who did he have on that team? Dwayne Wade. He had Isaiah Thomas.
Dwayne Wade was on the team for like half a season.
How can you not win with the dude you want with in Miami?
Dwayne Wade wasn't on the team for half a season. Isaiah Thomas was washed. He dragged them boys to the final.
I don't know washed. That's cap.
He was washed.
That's cap.
He had no hips.
That's cap. That's cap.
His hips was tight.
Look at that Trey is capping banner. Trey is definitely capping. He's capping right now. Trey, are you serious?
They had no squad. He carried them on his back to the finals. They had no Kyrie Irving. Like the team was terrible.
No way, bro. LeBron James is great, and his teams are always going to be great after that. Come on, now
They got swept that year, right? They got swept.
He had J.R. Smith. Let's be real. J.R. Smith would have never held the ball. LeBron would have won the game. We'd have talked about this heralded win because LeBron James is the king, the greatest basketball player of all time. And what were we talking about then? Something completely different.
That was one game they might have won if George Hill would have made a free throw.
Well, look, when the king is there, look, LeBron, he considered himself a lion. I think he's some type of Leo. I think that's his sign or something like that. When a lion is near its prey, it's going to pounce. It's going to eat. It's going to eat. Trey, you're crazy. Don't do me like that, man. Don't do me like that, dude.
That team was not hooping at all.
Great. I mean, hey, look, they were better than the old team he had. The old
team. Oh, that team? Yeah, they were better.
And obviously they was good because they made it to the finals.
They was not good. He was like 23 and led them to 25 and carried them on his back too.
No, not that. Not no. I'm talking about.
Oh, you're talking about 2018.
Yeah.
It's the same team, just slightly better.
Slightly. All right.
Kevin Love was the second best player.
Right, so you don't think young LeBron wouldn't want the team he had in 2018? That's what you're telling me?
Say it again.
He wouldn't see much of a difference.
Say it again.
Do you feel as if old LeBron, 23-year-old LeBron James, who went to San Antonio and got swept, would not take this 2018 team
to the finals?
To the finals? He wouldn't appreciate that team?
No.
You're crazy.
Well, actually, yeah, probably would. He would.
Yeah.
But he would have got swept. He would have got swept even worse because 2018 LeBron is probably, arguably, one of the greatest LeBrons of all time.
He's not bad, bro. He's not better than Heat LeBron, though.
He's not. I agree with that.
He's not better than Miami Heat LeBron. That's not me being biased. That's me being honest.
I agree.
James. That's when he became King James. Like,
I mean, I guess we're gonna talk about MVP and the Rookie of the Year races and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
My pick for MVP is Giannis. I think Giannis is gonna win MVP, even though the Bucks are a regular season team and hasn't proved anything in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
MVP is a regular season award, so I believe Giannis is gonna win Rookie of the Year. What do you think?
You said Giannis for MVP?
Yes. Oh, before you start, Mario, can we get the graphic up, please? Continue.
Are you serious?
Yeah, Giannis is gonna win MVP.
LeBron.
Giannis is in the best team in the league on paper.
They also lost to the Miami Heat 3 times this year.
That's true. But we're not talking about the team. We're talking about the player.
Okay. Answer me this. What else stat line? What is his stat line? What's his stat line looking like, Trey?
Giannis, I'm not quite sure because I don't have it on me, but Giannis averages about 29 points a game.
Okay, yeah.
About 11 rebounds and probably 5 assists, 6 assists.
LeBron averages a double-double this year, I'm pretty sure. If not,
so Giannis.
But with what? Rebounds.
Okay.
LeBron does it in assists. When you're talking about the most valuable player, he has AD down there getting all those rebounds. If LeBron really wanted, he probably could get the triple-double with the rebounds.
That's true.
You gotta understand, man. Like when it comes down to the man LeBron James, King James, it's MVP. Ain't nothing else to it. When you're saying MVP, what does MVP stand for?
Most valuable player.
Most valuable player. If Giannis is not playing, what are the Bucks? What is the record with the Bucks? I can tell you, undefeated. They've never lost a game without Antetokounmpo. With or without Antetokounmpo. Without Antetokounmpo, they did not lose.
But do you think they can still do that in the playoffs?
Yes.
Do you think they could do that over a
Oh,
long period of time?
no. I heard the question wrong. No. But that's what team really is going to do good without their best player. I know the Celtics did it a couple years ago. That was the emergence of Terry Rozier. But I mean, it's tough to do. But you really have to have the personnel to do that. And unfortunately, how the Bucks would be sitting, who would they play first? They probably beat whoever they played the first round. But if Giannis were to not play for whatever reason, we played him. We beat them with him.
You and me both agree. If the Bucks play the Heat in the playoffs, the Heat are going to advance.
Yes.
We both agree on that.
6 games.
6 games.
6 games at the absolute latest 7. It's not going to be a 4-game, 5 games. The two teams are too evenly matched. We know how to keep Giannis to a mellow scoring night, and we just play hard-nosed defense. Play basketball and put the ball in the basket. The Miami Heat has guys that work. They grind. That culture is something serious. It's not just a word we use. Everybody loves saying culture this, culture that, culture. That's not a buzzword in Miami. We get it done. We get it in culture. We get it in with our culture.
It's contagious.
Who was it? I think it was Hassan Whiteside. Did he fail his first workout with the Heat?
He sure did.
We don't face value doesn't do anything. In Miami, if you are a true Miami Heat fan, you know the work ethic. You know how they play. It's not every free agent, every person that wants to trade. I'm pretty sure they all say, "Dang, I wonder what it's like to play in Miami."
You got the weather. We got the Miami culture, not just the team, just the city itself.
Beautiful.
We have the Godfather himself, Pat Riley.
The Don.
With rings for each finger. You can't lose.
The Miami Heat will forever and always be. I really feel like we're going to be up there with the Lakers and the Celtics when we get more experience in the league, when we grow older. We're going to have more rings. Jimmy Butler is going to have rings. I want people to understand that. Get it in your mouth. Say it in the mirror. Look at your lips as you say it so you can know to get the muscle memory. You will say Jimmy Butler is an NBA champion with the Miami Heat. That's facts. That is facts. He works too hard. Tyler Hero, he works too hard. Bam Adebayo, he works too hard. Eric Spoelstra's too good. Duncan Robinson is a bucket.
We got a bunch of dogs.
We're loaded. We're loaded.
Our squad's super deep.
I mean, look, I could have a lot of heat pride in me, you don't beat hard work no matter how hard you try.
And we're not being biased. Like, it's just facts.
That's facts. You just said it yourself. Who's the best team in the league?
The Bucks.
The Bucks. Who are we undefeated against this year?
The Bucks.
So you really think I'm worried? Brett, people at the end of the day, when you're watching basketball, people have to take your bias out and you have to watch the game of basketball. People have this bias, he can't be better than the Bucks.
It's ridiculous. But the rookie of the year race, who do you got winning? I say Ja Morant.
I want to say Kendrick Nunn, but Ja Morant. Ja Morant, but Zion. I say make a case for Zion. If
you can make a case for Zion.
A strong case is solely off the fact that Adam Silver wanted to make the league available for him to get in.
Mm-hmm.
Zion is the man right now. That's the guy. And he went to Duke. He's a Duke guy. I gotta give him his credit. He's a Carolina guy though.
Mm-hmm.
Zion's the guy.
He only played 19 games, but those 19 games are arguably better than Ja Morant's entire season.
That's cap. Don't
arguably.
That's so disrespectful to Ja Morant.
It's arguably because a lot of people can make the argument that Zion should win Rookie of the Year. Do I think so? No. But those 19 games Zion was playing, he was hooping. He averaged like 22 points a game.
I wish somebody would tell me that I had a season. I never think I get it there. This is the narrative you're telling me.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody could play a whole season, play on a team that absolutely is terrible. They just lost Justice Winslow.
We're not talking about Justice. Justice is terrible.
The team is the team absolutely is terrible. Okay, and you're not telling me anything right now. This man John Morant is the reason why they are the way they are.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Defensive player of the year, who do you think will win?
Snoop. Excuse me.
Well, I think Bam Adebayo is going to win Defensive Player of the Year. He's shown that he can guard positions 1 through 5. He's 6'10" and has guarded Stephen Curry, LeBron James, and Ben Simmons in the same season. So that's why I think Bam Adebayo should win Defensive Player of the Year. What do you think, Noah?
Bam? I can see it. I kind of see Bam being more so of a Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, not Defensive Player of the Year, Most Improved.
I can see that too. We can talk about that. We're going to talk about that later.
I think Most Improved would be the best thing. Snoop, come on, dude. We're talking basketball here, baby. Come on now. So you got to understand when it comes down to the Defensive Player of the Year, yes, he can guard multiple positions, but Giannis Antetokounmpo. If I'm not giving Giannis MVP, I'm definitely gonna give him Defensive Player of the Year. You had to reward that man somehow or another.
Mm-hmm.
You can't give him 6 man and he ain't never played 6 man. He has to get an award this year. He's been hooping this year.
He has been. But
and he's I think he's like what, top 3 in rebounds too?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he's guy's been great. He's been hooping. You've gotta give that man that credit. You gotta give him that respect. He's a great guy.
You can also make arguments for Rudy Gobert and Kawhi Leonard as well.
Well, I don't think Rudy Gobert will win because he kind of gets the tag of, yeah, you gave us Corona, huh? Like he's kind of like the kid in class that farted at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I feel bad. I'm not trying to make fun of the guy. I really do feel bad because it's a really sad situation how everything happened. But yeah, nah. And then Kawhi, I'm a cool guy. No, Giannis, GA.
Okay. I agree with you. Well, I'm still going to stick with Bam. Most improved player, who you got?
You already know, Bam Adebayo. I can understand the argument for Brandon Ingram. I do like Brandon Ingram as most improved just because of his growth as a player. He's really starting to flow into what he's going to be.
He's starting to put it together.
And he's going to be great.
I agree with you. I believe Bam should win most improved player. I think Brandon Ingram will probably get the award because he has more clout. Like, his name is bigger than Bam. He was drafted higher. He's always been a more heralded prospect.
But I mean, like it goes back to what I was saying like earlier. You have to watch basketball to understand that that's the most improved player. Mm-hmm. By the full title of the thing, you got to understand Bam Adebayo is the most improved player of the year. Yes, what Brandon Ingram did is phenomenal. But we're talking about a guy who averages a double-double, 16 and 10, on a team that's a top 10 team in the league. Better record than the Pelicans, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Says we have
a problem. Still there?
Yeah. Says we have. We said we have a caller.
I don't see it. Okay, who do you think is gonna win Coach of the Year? I'm gonna say, um, I'm gonna give it to Brad Stevens of the Celtics. Because while we expected the Celtics to be good, we didn't expect the Celtics to be this good. They've beaten the Heat. You know, we're both Heat fans. They've beaten the Heat, and the Heat have beaten the Bucks. The Heat have beaten the Raptors. The only team the Heat haven't been able to beat is the Celtics. So while the Celtics are not ranked as the best team in the league in the East right now, I believe they're the Heat's biggest threat simply because we haven't beaten them. And Brad Stevens he's a big part of that success. You know, along with obviously the players Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, but Brad Stevens is the engine that gets them running. We're going to talk about the NBA and the NFL's response to social issues, specifically Breonna Taylor, this situation with Breonna Taylor. Kenny Stills of the Houston Texans was recently arrested because he was protesting with other protesters. And it's a tribute to Breonna Taylor, you know, asking for her killers to be arrested, be brought to justice. If you don't know the situation with Breonna Taylor, she was an unarmed black woman who was sleeping in her house, and the police broke into her house and shot her 8 times. So many many athletes and celebrities and activists have spoken up against the injustice because her killers have not been arrested yet. So, you know, Kenny Stills unfortunately is one of those casualties to be arrested. Before we continue with that topic, Noah, your Coach of the Year candidate, who do you think is going to win?
Coach of the Year candidate, Nick Nurse, hands down.
Nick Nurse of the Raptors.
Nick Nurse, absolutely.
Okay. All right, back to Breonna Taylor. YBN Cordae, he's a rapper. He was also arrested for protesting the murder of Breonna Taylor. He was released. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but Kenny Stills was released from prison, well, from jail, and Cordae has also been released from jail. NBA players, multiple NBA players, Tobias Harris, LeBron James, Jimmy Butler, Russell Westbrook have spoken up, among others, have spoken up against the injustice surrounding Breonna Taylor. You mentioned earlier Russell Westbrook made a clothing line, I believe it was.
Yeah, I saw something on Bleacher Report. It's either like he was either making a clothing line or he was teaming with one to give like a highlight or whatever or showcase got turned into a lack of a better term for the names that the phrase that didn't get approved. So it's like the I think one of I think one of them was Power to the People. A couple other things too. So it was interesting to see him do that. I think Jimmy Butler's still trying to get his right now with his name not being on his jersey. But I feel like I heard there was some issues with that.
Mm. Yeah, the NBA said he wasn't allowed to have his no name on his jersey. They said it's a part of the uniform; it has to happen. Jaylen Brown also said he likes that idea that no name should be on a jersey. The no name jersey symbolizes the unnamed African Americans who were brutally killed by police officers or civilians whose names that we do not know, whose names weren't highly publicized. Because I've seen a statistic saying I think 1 out of every 3 murders go unsolved. So if a civilian murders a black person, there's chances are that person will that civilian will probably never be found. And police officers could, if they you know, unjustly kills somebody, they could just sweep it under the rug and act like it never happened. So that's basically what the no-name jersey symbolizes. The NBA is still considering all options. So we'll see what happens with that.
I honestly don't see why it's an issue. I feel like if the NBA really wants to stand true on what they truly believe in, and if they really believe in social equality and fighting inequality, if Jimmy Butler feels like this is going to be his way to do that, they should allow it. It should be no. It should. It's not offensive to anybody. I feel like that should be something that they should do.
I agree. I know Jeremy Grant. I think it was Jeremy Grant. He was giving an interview. Well, he was getting interviewed, and he answered every question with Breonna Taylor's killers are still free, something like that, something along those lines, and he answered every question like that. So it's just I appreciate a lot of players standing up for her since George Floyd, his killers were arrested. I know they're like out on bond, but justice will come for them eventually, hopefully. But Breonna Taylor's killers are still free, still living their best life. So
that's an issue.
Yeah, it is. But I
Even
applaud
with
the athlete.
talking about it. LeBron had mentioned something about it too. He put up a post talking about, I forgot when it was, saying sorry this is taking so long. And at Tobias Harris. I don't know. I don't know if you mentioned him while I was gone. But Tobias Harris even said, I'm asking for whoever, I forgot what the guy's or lady's position is, but he asked that she or he make sure that these guys are getting arrested. You don't you wear that badge, it's to serve and protect. If you're not going to serve and protect, why do you have that badge?
I agree.
That's all it is to it.
They made a careless mistake and they ended up taking someone's life. So they got to pay for it, I guess.
Yep.
It's about that time, folks. It's hot take time. My hot take of today is the NBA restart is setting up Zion Williamson to be the NBA's next big thing. If you think back to, I believe it was the 1985, maybe 1986 quarterfinals of the NBA playoffs, the Bulls went up against the Celtics. That was Michael Jordan versus Larry Bird. And in one of those games in the series, Jordan ended up dropping 63 points. That was setting up Jordan to be one of the top players in the NBA. And at the time, no one knew Jordan was going to be the greatest player of all time. No one knew that. He went third for a reason. There was two players who two teams thought, they were better than Jordan.
Yep.
But he proved during his rookie year that he was the next big thing in the playoffs. He showed it by dropping 63 on Larry Bird's head. Zion went toe-to-toe with LeBron earlier this year. And while the Pelicans lost that game, Zion proved that he could hang with LeBron and he can hang with some of the best players in the NBA. And as Noah said earlier, the NBA could have just started the restart with 16 playoff teams. If you were in, you were in. If you weren't, well, you weren't. The Pelicans were not in. They didn't have a better record than the Grizzlies to get the 8th seed in the West. But since Zion's on the Pelicans and Zion is probably the next big thing in the NBA, the NBA expanded the playoff field to include other teams who were just out of the playoff picture, and that those other teams include the Pelicans. So right now Zion has left the bubble to deal with family issues, but if he returns, hopefully he puts on the show. He's looking good. He looks like he's probably about 265, 285. So that's a good weight. He looks more muscular than he was before when he started playing. Before when he was he had a little bit more weight to him, unhealthy weight. So I believe the bubble is just setting up Zion to be the next big thing. Basically, I think he has the ability to be the next LeBron if he keeps up his weight
They put them
plays
Cowboys.
good, stays healthy, he could be the next big thing. What's your hot take, Noah? What's your hot take?
My hot take is gonna be that my boy Lamar Jackson is gonna be the next Super Bowl MVP and Super Bowl champion. The Ravens have added Calais Campbell,
Mhm.
and they've bulked up the defense with even more guys. They're with the evolution of Marquise Brown, Mark Ingram, Lamar Jackson. He already got an MVP last year.
Mhm.
He's the second coming of Michael Vick. Like he's definitely going to get a championship. She got it. He's going to be an NBA champion. He's going to be an NFL champion. Lamar
Mhm.
Jackson, and let's be real, even Earl Thomas. Earl Thomas is back there too. Like that defense, when them two are going to play, it's going to be a gunfight, and you don't want to get into a gunfight with a guy that can run the ball for 100 yards and throw the ball for 200 more.
Mhm.
You can't stop that.
Mhm.
This is Mookie Betts just signed a 12-year deal.
Yeah, I seen that. I seen that.
Yeah, he just signed a 12-year deal,
$300.
$365 million in
Yeah.
extension with the Dodgers.
Mhm.
Sheesh.
I mean, I don't watch too much baseball, but I know who Mookie Betts is. I know he's one of the best players in the league, so he deserves that money.
Wow, with baseball, man. Jeez, I thought the NBA got a lot of money. Ooh.
Even during the pandemic, these players still getting that bread.
Yeah, they live really good. I said a little $275,000 fine for leaving your bubble wouldn't be too bad.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just hope at the end of the day, I hope Madden updates these rosters because you were talking about overalls. I think it was last week. You talked about the overalls. The
Mhm.
discussion. Why is C-Mac a 99?
I mean, he was probably the best running back in the league last year.
Okay, but he's not a 99. He's not better than Derrick Henry. If he's a 99, Derrick Henry needs to be a 99.
He's better than Derrick Henry.
That's cap.
He is better than Derrick Henry.
That's cap. The reason why you're gonna say he's better than him is because he goes to the slot.
Yeah, he's more versatile.
Oh no, he can play wide receiver. That just means the reason why he is a running back is to run the ball. You doing all that other stuff at the slot is nice and well and good. That's extra stuff. But when we're talking about a running back doing his job as a running back, that's Derrick Henry.
Mhm. Well, Madden does their ratings on a season by season basis. It's not like legacy, you know. And on top of that, McCaffrey is going to have a longer career because he doesn't run as hard as Henry. Henry will probably burn out this year or next
That's
year. It's going to happen soon.
no way. No way. No way. No way. You can't do that. You can't do that. But do we still got more time? Do we still have more time on the air?
Well, we're about to end it now, but
Okay.
I just want to let you get your thoughts out before we ended it.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you guys for having me on the show. You guys can follow me at ArcBuilder Noah on all social platforms. That's Twitter, Instagram, as at ArcBuilder Noah. We can talk about Heat basketball, Carolina basketball, A&T football, anything dealing with A&T sports. I love to talk about my teams, any team in general. We can talk sports. And thanks for having me again.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. As you know, that's it for today's show. My Twitter handle is TreyAvant3. Timeout airs every Thursday at 7 p.m. And as always, this is the Avant Bros signing off.